This video is set to publish on the same day as the Master Series Finals, and since the finals are going to be offering a lot of competitive Legends gameplay, I thought I would share some non-competitive Legends gameplay by using this deck, if you can even call it a deck. So I wanted to take the Necromancer package that you've probably seen me play in other videos, where I actually tried to make somewhat decent decks with those cards, and make just a crazy Empire toolbox. So there is a lot of 1 and 2 ofs. There's a lot of cards in here that aren't necessarily built with being successful in mind, but I wanted to give me the maximum amount of choices when I draw a Necromancer. And so we're gonna still follow the old deck testing format where I take this thing on the ladder, and I'm gonna play 2 games, win or lose, but they might be losses today, gang. Now, I didn't go over every choice there. If you want, you can rewind, for example, and go look at the deck a little bit more in detail. There will also be the deck code in the video description, but this is not built with competition in mind. This is built with giving ourselves a number of really cool triggers. Things like Shining Saint, which is in here as a 1 of. There are some competitive cards, right? Like there's Aspirant because it helps us fight for the board, things like that. But you know, in a deck that should be running, you know, Pit Lions and Scouting Patrols and Cliff Racers, that stuff's not in here. Why do that when we can play a bunch of things that we can bring back?
Did you hear that?
With Necromancer. All right. Guess we'll do this. Wanted to develop this. Was kind of hoping they did not have a 1-drop, so that we could try to steal the field lane a bit.
The Oriole do not waste time chatting with
Okay.
mortals.
I'll take them with me! You're so sweet, I could just eat you up.
Sure. We'll battle back and forth for control of this field lane.
I'll take them with me!
We will do just that. So it is worth noting, there's not necessarily a ton of card draw in this particular build, and a lot of that has to do with, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Yeah, why not? Let's also use our last charge. I was going back and forth on it, but let's just do it. So there's not a lot of card draw, and a lot of that has to do with me choosing other options. I think there might be like 1 Spoils of War, for example. We're just going to be relying on our Necromancers to get us the value that we're looking for.
You will feed my clan.
Alright, so they might run something like
I'll try to draw their fire.
Immolating Blast, which could punish us here. But otherwise, I think we're okay with trying to go wide for the most part. A little surprised to see a deck running Shadowfoot, but also Marked Man. Well, that's gotta be a bad hand if you're stuck jamming a Nasi
Look up the sky, guide us!
Behold my
for what feels like no value, right? Like you just played a 5-cost
I will have
5/5 Anasi.
I will have my vengeance.
Feel bad, because it's just gotta be a bad hand.
We stand united.
I only need
All right.
taste a Nazi's blade.
All right. So they get in there a bit. And, all right, we got a win with this pile. which feels good, but it doesn't. And here's why. Our opponent clearly had a bad hand. That's reason number one. And the other reason that win is very unsatisfying is the entire point of this list is to use necromancers, and we never drew into any necromancers. And to be honest, we didn't even, like, really play what I would consider to be an aggressive list. I mean, yeah, we were playing bodies and we were attacking, so we were being aggressive, but I guess what I mean is we didn't, scouting patrol into pit line and smash face. We just tried to fight for control of the board, and then because our opponent, again, I'm pretty convinced had a bad hand, we just kind of won by accident, right? Like, we got control of the board and then there was nothing else for us to do. So maybe this will be slightly more satisfying. And by satisfying, I mean I just want to play necromancers with lots of choices. We'll keep the Ungulum. Ungulum is a lot of fun with Apprentice Necromancer. I have cards like Cool Lawkeeper in here as a one of.
The Black Hand sees
Cool Lawkeeper is interesting because you can bring it back with the OG Necromancer because of the attack power on it, but also because of the rally, it can power them up as well.
your death will be swift.
Yeah, let's do this.
The finest recruits in Sue.
Could put this over here, but this, if it gets to attack, will summon a 1/1 that can try to contest that. We also play Marked Man from our hand over there to contest it.
Face me, you dog.
Curious what they Galened.
Feel the might of the Empire.
So like we can do that. And drop that Cool Lawkeeper.
You're looking for trouble.
Get some of that value on that 1/6 body.
Face me, you dog.
Repel the Outlanders.
I slay the unworthy.
Oh. We're gonna slay the unworthy.
Ahead.
Yeah, we will keep that. That seems okay.
I lurk in the shadows.
Let's go ahead and see what else we can find.
You took a wrong turn.
Feel the might of the Empire.
Uh-oh.
Standing by. Wait.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do this.
Hear that?
Make him work a little bit harder to get rid of our recruiter. Next turn, we do have the Fervor coming online. Now, Fervor's in here because it helps out Necromancer and our go-wide boards. But it's going to be really fun if we can actually stick Clivia the following turn. As I blink a bunch of times. Because something got into my eye. I swear I'm not having a stroke. So the Marked Man went Shadow Lane because we wanted to be able to trade with this Galen. But we also have Fervor here. If we really want, we could Fervor, have this trade here, and try to take the value trade. But now it kind of doesn't matter with them doing that. Well, this is going to happen either way.
I'll try to draw their fire.
Take them with me.
I think we just do this. Interesting. So they are likely a Wax Wayne version of Telvanni. Now, if they have Ice Storm here, you know, they hit our board pretty hard. However, I think we're okay with it because, you know, they use their last ring charge and they also nuke their own. And while they have a bunch more cards in hand than we do have Clivia.
Should have been more worthy.
Die, die, die.
Clivia's not going to generate a ton of value as long as this lane is full, though. So maybe we do just develop the Fervor. Especially since they just did this. We are running a 1 of Moon Bishop because the you gain 4 health. Seems
Cut them down.
I will have my vengeance.
relevant at times when you're trying to toolbox with a Necromancer.
Meet your doom.
I don't think I want to gain 4 health, though. So I think we wait till next turn. I want to develop this over here, I think. Because we can play it with Clivia. That'll give us a few guards over there.
Should have been more.
Good trade by our opponent. Need to draw one of those Necromancers. It's the whole point of the deck. Look at all this fun we have. We could bring Ungolem back. We could bring an Aspirant back. That's just with the Apprentice Necromancers. It's a big guard. So very clearly, Galen here hit Piercing Twilight, and they got the old Galen special. So if you're not familiar, when Galen shuffles something into your deck, it really feels like you draw them almost immediately afterwards. So there is a 1 of Bandit Ringleader in here for card draw, and I like this because with 1 Fervor on the board like we have, this means the OG Necromancer
I will have my
can potentially bring that back.
like Naryu.
I think we just do this. It's gonna fill that lane, and if they don't have some sort of AoE removal to clear it, Bandit Ringleader has the potential to draw us a bunch of cards, but also it's just a very threatening field lane. As Clivia hangs out mockingly. Says, look at my wall of expendable folks while I sit on my throne. So there is the original Piercing Twilight. It's a 5/5 because it must have been hit with the rally from the old Velothi. So right now we would only get to draw 2 cards, but I think that's still worth it.
Bright moons protect me.
I will have my vengeance.
We can do
Like
this.
Naryu.
Actually, this was a bit of a misplay. I should have sacrificed to this one. Because we do want to do this.
Not since this one comes alone. You will know.
So a bit of a misplay.
Cut them down. Cut them down.
Ah, yes. So we are also running Praetorian Commander, which is kind of fun. Again, because of the Necromancers. So yeah, small misplay there. Because this could just be, you know, a much larger 2/6 in conjunction with the rest of our board. But that's what happens when you get lost in your head. Thinking about how sad it's going to be to make a Necromancer deck for Apprentice and the big boy, and then you don't draw them. It's just going to fill me with sadness. But we're having fun, and we actually might win. I said at the start of this, it's a pile of junk entirely based around the Toolbox. And there's a chance we'll actually go 2-0 with it. So maybe I'll have to do more videos in the future just to see the necromancers.
I have many important things on my mind.
And yeah, Unkano whips out that little book and does some Sudoku. All right. That's it. That is 2 games. Win or lose, they both happen to be wins. I am shocked. I guess since we didn't get to see him in action, maybe here at the end what I'll do is I'll come in and give you a longer look at the list. So, it's all about the necromancers, right? So, starting with Apprentice Necromancer, this is what you have available. Opportunist, because it shuffles more in, and then even later, they can give you 1-drops that draw you a card. It's the same reason that Unglim is in here, right? If you get to the part where you're getting the ones that draw a card in your discard pile, then Necromancer becomes a pretty good value engine at that point. Marked Man, just because of the utility it provides. Again, access to card draw is really what that is. Health gain. This helps you fight for the board. Mudcry Merchant, because it's funny. Like, I'm just going to be honest. It's a 1-drop that does fun things, and you're making videos for YouTube, so you put it in. Scouts Report. So Scouts Report here is normally not something you would include because it's not like an aggressive card. However, with the Necromancer theme, this gives you the option to discard some things and then bring them back and or dig through your deck to find the Necromancers. So that's why I included it. 1 Assassin to be part of the toolbox, and also because of the rally. It's kind of the same reason that Cool Lockkeeper was in there, because it's something that this Necromancer can bring back, and both of them with rally can buff this, which is a big deal. Barrow Stalkers, because it's great and it survives. 1 Dragon Tail, just to give you a big body for trading into things if you need it, that comes back with that. Recruiter, kind of the same thing as Barrow Stalker. It's like honestly just in here because it's a good stuff card, and it triggers Empire Oathman that we're running a pair of. 5th Legion works great with both of your Necros. 1 Shining Saint, 2 Skinned Hounds. Pawnbroker honestly is in here for the same reason Mudcry Merchant is. Apprentice Necromancer, duh. Clan Sorcerer, makes some random stuff, good times, and you got a lot of bodies, so sometimes you should be able to trigger it. Galen for your Necromancers. Initiate and... where'd the other one go? Cloud Rest were in here just to get my prophecy count up. If I'm being completely honest, I was afraid when I was putting this together that I was just going to die so fast that I wouldn't get to do anything fun, and I didn't want that to happen, so I threw in some prophecies. Turns out that is not what happened in our 2 games. Gourmet, Lawkeeper, Penitus, Sanctuary Pet, Skooma Racketeer, which I think is a bit underrated with this Necromancer. 1 Thieves Guild Shadowfoot. So again, all of these, 2 attack or less, just to give you more toolbox options with this guy. Also, the fun thing about a list like this is your opponent doesn't know what to plan for because you have so many things in your deck. Like if you play your 1 of Skooma, or you play a Shadowfoot, or any of these, they don't know if you're gonna have more or not if they're on the ladder. So it's a bit of a mind game. But anyway, Edict's in here. Again, defensive card, just for the same reason some of those other things were. Couple of Emperor's Blades, Empire Oathman, 1 Mercenary Captain. It's basically a 4th Divine Fervor, but this one can also be brought back by Necro. Now, there's synergy there, but there's also anti-synergy because you have to consume something. So in order to buff your squad, you also might take something out of your toolbox. Anasi is just Anasi. 1 Giant Snake, because it's a cheeky surprise card, but also if you have any +1, so again, 5th Legion Trainer, Divine Fervor, etc., this Necromancer will be able to bring back snakes, and that's a pretty big stall play. 1 Histomage to be part of the toolbox. 1 Ringleader for card draw. That also fits the same like criteria Snake does, where if you have a single +1, then this Necromancer brings it back. Speaking of +1s, 3 Praetorians, because they kind of chain with each other. So if you get this first, then all your future Necromancers can bring this back to continue buffing. But anyway, Clivia, because it was Clivia, and then Tullius, because Necromancer also brings that back. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why this list is the way that it is. So, deck code will be in the video description. If you made it through all of this, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Until next time, may you walk on warm sands.